everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing good. Before moving ahead, guys, I would request every one of you, whoever are interested in learning AI and ML, please reach out to this channel. Please subscribe to this channel. People who have already subscribed, please share this to your friends. Share this to your group of people whoever want to learn this, and they can go ahead and implement in the real life applications. So without delay, guys, let us start. So guys, today we'll discuss about Python conditional statements. So let us start with our discussion. So guys, what is Python conditions? Why we're trying to put conditions in our code? Guys, take an example. Okay, take an example of phone number. Okay, consider that. Have you ever heard that a phone number is of 100 characters or sort of 100 digits? We are trying to path, or we are trying to stop or limit the length of phone number to 10 digits, right? By what? By putting conditions. So conditions are nothing but we are trying to control some of the flow of our execution in our program. We are trying to control the flow of our execution. How it is controlling? Because we are trying to put some conditions or some filters so that it will filter out the output from that kind of code and it will flow to the rest of the part of the code, right? And Python conditions, right, will always return a Boolean value, so either true or false. It will either return true or false. And how it will save on backend, guys? How it will save in a memory of our computer? It will save in a memory as a 1 or 0, correct? So there are various types of conditional statements, guys. We have else, nested else, and ternary expressions. So ternary expressions, you must have heard about lambda expressions, right? Those are nothing but ternary expressions. Like these are the base of those expressions, correct? Yeah. So we have few operators as well, which we are putting in our if else conditions, which are nothing but double equal. This is equal means we are trying to compare two values, which will give me the output as true or false. Not equal. Then we have something called greater than, less than. I think we have already covered these things in our operators and data types. Still, I wanted to tell you here that these are the most used operators we are trying to implement or try to use in our conditions, kind of like Python conditions, right? Less than, we have greater than or equal to, we have a less than or equal. Now let us go and explore what are the concepts of these conditions. So guys, Python conditions E. What exactly my if condition is doing? Consider that if you're writing if true and you're writing some statements. So what it will do, guys? First, it will check the expression. Whatever the expression it was there along with if, it is going to check that. If it is true, then whatever the code you have written inside that if, it is going to return that. If it is false, it will come out. And it will read the next statements whichever are there after if. We have if else, guys. So if else, it is similar to if, but here we are trying to put what else condition. What it is going to happen, guys? See, we have expression, right? Let me just take my time. So we have this expression, correct? Check expression. First, it will check the expression. If it is true, then it will read the if conditions block. If it is false, it will condition this else block code or else block part, whatever is written, it is going to print that. Then after everything, what it will happen? The control will flow to your statement, because these statements are regular. We are not putting any conditions, correct? So the next flow of executions for rest of the code will be there. Next, guys, what you have is nested if. Nested if. Nested if means, guys, what is going to happen? See, first you can see, and I've done one example. If language equal English, print my relative language is English. Then after that, I can see my next if condition is condition K. So if inside E is nothing but your nested if, right? See, if I'm trying to put some sort of filter condition and it is printing me some output, correct? After that, you can put, see, again, if you see, guys, this if else is associated with this if. But there is no if else condition for this if, right? This else is associated with this if. But this if does not have any else condition. So what is going to happen, guys? First, it will check if my language is English. It will go inside. It will print my native language in English. After that, if it will check if the experience is greater than 2, there must be another variable. See, here another variable is there, 3. So 3 is greater than 2. Yes, that is true. It will go and read my experience in English is good. Right? After that, the rest of the statements after if will be there. Because it will not go to else condition. Correct? Because my if condition is true, it will not go to my else condition. Okay? So this is my nested if else condition. Now let us see. This is one of the most used condition which we have right now. Now let us see, guys. What is if else if condition? See, usually, right, in modern languages, what we have, we are writing if else if, right? But in case of Python, we are writing if ELIS, else condition. So first it will check, see, first it will check the first expression. This is my first condition. It will check that. It will, if it is true, it will check that block. Okay. Then after that, whatever is the statements after if is there, it will print. Else, if it is false, what is going to happen? It will check the next expression. It will come to the first elif condition. It will print that. It will print that block of code. You can see block of elif. Then after that, it will come and print the rest of the statements after it. After that, if this is also false, this one is also false, right? The second elif condition is false. It will go to the third condition, third elif condition, this one, which is this one. It will print the block of elif. Then after that, it will go to the next statements after if. If all the other conditions are false, then it will print the else condition. Then after that, it will continue with the statements after if, right? Guys, we will practice a lot of code. First, I am exploring the theory part. So this is one example, guys, just for your understanding and escape. See, first, I am here. What is the scenario I have created here? I am trying to get score, right? Like there is some score for a few students, or the students have some score for some subjects, and based on the score, there is a grading system. So here you can see I have taken input. Okay, I have taken an input. Then after that, I'm trying to search, or I'm trying to filter out based on the condition, like based on the score. Okay, so each score is greater than or equal to 90, guys, and I want to print grade A. If my score is greater than or equal to 40 at less than 90, then it is going to print B. If score is greater than or equal to 30, then grade C, else fail grade, right? So what I did, I tried to enter score 60. So guys, my 60 score is coming under which range? This range, right? My 60 is greater than 40 and at the same time it is less than 90. So what it is going to print? It is going to print grade B. And guys, take one note. After this, there will be other statements. It is going to control the flow along with that. Okay. So this is one example of if else condition. Now now let us understand what is ternary operator. Okay. Before that, let me just tell you, guys, this is the syntax of ternary operator. It is simple. I mean, you just need to put the condition. Okay, let me get a pen. Yeah. Let me write it. So you will try to put condition. Okay, just let me write it. Then it will be there. This is a condition. Okay. Condition. After that condition, you are trying to put something called color, and you are trying to write it. Okay, so this is my ternary operator. This whole thing is my ternary operator. So similarly, see, this is my condition. First, what I had taken? I had taken score equal to 80. So this is my condition. Score is greater than or equal to 40. Yes, my age is greater than 40, right? It will come and print pass. Right? Similarly, here is another example. This is another example of single line code. Sometimes what is happening is we are writing single line code. Single line is if you do not want to exaggerate the output in many lines, right? You can just put it in a single line. So I just need one single output, right? Here you can see one example. Score equal to 50. Result equal to pass. E score is greater than or equal to 40. Else fail. See, in one line I have mentioned my if else and it is over, right? Again, this is one of the example of ternary operator, guys. So, but the best practice which you are doing is this one. You are trying to use this condition, colon, expression. So, some of the best practices, guys, which we have to follow, which we have to stick when we are trying to create this if else. We are trying to see sometimes we are trying to involve with so many if else conditions that sometimes we are forgetting putting colon somewhere, and because that's why human tendency, right? We might forget something. So few things you have to take care during writing this if else condition. So complex if else conditional statements use comments and break wherever is needed. So you can put break conditions. So break and everything I'm going to explain you in looping part, but just mention understand that break is a keyword. Okay, break is a keyword. What is going to happen? Wherever you put, right, it will come out, it will exit from that state and it will come out of that loop, or it will come out of that condition. To reduce number of code lines, use ternary operators for single statement out. See, I'm getting a single statement here. I'm getting a single statement here. I have already told, I have already explained you about it. For iterations, use all or any. Again, these parts we will discuss more on for like looping part. But for now, you can understand we have something called all and any. All and any are any. It will check if at least one element is present, it returns true or false. All, it checks all statements and it will return based on that either true or false. So these things we will discuss, guys. Just I thought of keeping you because these are the few points you have to remember. We'll practice about these things, guys. Don't worry. So, guys, next thing is we have Python match case statement. This is one important concept, guys. You will get questions from interview about this. So, guys, what is matched case statement? Match, again, the term, right? Matched. We are trying to match with something against something, right? So, match is used to perform various actions or various choices or various conditions. Like instead of writing many if-else statements, we can use match statement, and it has been introduced with Python 3.10 plus versions. With this, it's like switch case, guys. It's just like switch case statement. Here we have match case, and usually we are trying to implement where we have several choices we have several choices. Instead of writing multiple if-else condition for those choices, this is a best practice. This is a best practice. So one example, guys, see this one, match expression. This is a syntax, guys. Match expression. To put a condition there. Okay. Then you have to write case. You just see, guys. After every statement there has to be a colon. There has to be a column. See, up case X, then code block. Then after that, case Y, you are putting again some code block. Then case Z, you can try to put a code block. Imagine, guys, just imagine that you are writing if-else statement. How complex it is going to be. There are hundreds of choices. How you will implement. It is very difficult, right? Then what is going to happen? It is going to search for each else if condition. It is going to make your compiler or interpreter very complex to work on, right? And it will take time. The process will take time. Okay? So this is how my match expression syntax is going to be, guys. I'll again cover all the examples in code part. The match expression is executed always one, guys. First, it will check the first instance. The interpreter will take that choice or understand that expression. It will execute only once. It will execute only once. It will not execute more than one time because it is just going to check once, not more. Right? The value of expression is matched against value of cases. Again, right? I've already explained, right? This expression value, it is going to match with this, right? If there is a match, then the associated block of code is executed. That is again fair, right? We are comparing this expression with this, then we are typing the code, correct? Now that is all, guys, for theory part. Now let us go ahead and understand the code part. Now, guys, you can see here, first example here. See, I have taken a positive integer x. Okay, so your task is to check if it is an odd or even. See, condition came, right? You have to check. There is a restriction. I want to check either even or odd, right? So any number that gives 0 as reminder when divided by 0 is an even number, and the vice versa, right? If it is not, like if the reminder is not 0, then it is an odd number, right? So you can see, guys, first I'm taking input. You can see, and I have taken the input. Then you can see I have entered a number. I'm checking again the condition. If my input number modulo operator 2 equal to 0. See, guys, the operator I have told you, these are the most used operators. That is why I kept a point in the PPT. See, if this equal to 0, then print even. If means else if number is not equal to 0. This modulo operator is not equal to 0. Then print or. Else print print. Now let us try, guys. See, guys, it is asking me to give an input. Enter number is 20. So it is equal. Now let me give one more. Even. See, anything which is divisible by 2, correct, guys? Just see, observe the output, okay? Now let me give 45. See, 45 is not divisible by 2. That is where it is printing or, correct? Now let us go to the next example. This is something very a peculiar example, guys. I just thought of keeping it here. See, accept any city from user and display the monument associated with that city. Okay. See, guys, I have taken list of cities: Delhi, Agra, Odisha, Kolkata. There are list of monuments associated with that. Again, Red Fort, Taj Mahal, Puri Temple, Howrah Bridge. Okay. Now see guys, I have taken an input city. See, guys, input. Input is a method or input is a predefined function or piker which will take input. It's like a taking a like read. It's kind of read line. Whatever we are trying to give, it is going to right. It is going to read it. So that is all. I mean, we are getting city. Then we are trying to understand city dot lower. We are converting that to city dot lower. Then we are trying to compare. If my city dot lower, like whatever the city I am entering, consider that if I am entering with capital and small, it is going to convert every character to small, right? That is our lowercase. Small, I mean lowercase. It is going to convert it to lowercase. Then it is going to print Monument of Delhi is Red Fort. Okay. LA, city dot lower, equal to Agra. Print Monument of Agra is में like that we have the other comparisons. Now let us see each output what it is come. Okay, sorry, okay. I have not get double equal here. Now let me give one input. See guys, I have taken input as a day, and you can observe here guys, I have given a capital letter of D. Still it considered, it has converted to lowercase, it is compared, and it gave me this output, right? Now let me take another example. Now this time guys, I'll take it all small case, so there is no con, but still it is comparing with this and it is giving me the output, correct output. Now let me take some other example. Okay. See guys, now I have taken another input which is out of these conditions. Observe guys, it is out of these conditions, so it printed else part, like the else part it printed. It did not print whatever is available on the if condition, because this part is not there at all in that list, correct? In that set of if else condition, it is not there. That is why it printed this part. Now let us go and understand another example, guys. Set the following from user and calculate the percentage of class attended, a total number of working days, total number of days absent. Calculate percentage, and if percentage is less than 80, then student is not able to sit in the exam. So guys, see, first I am taking number of days. I am trying to enter total number of working days. Then number of absence. These are number of absence. I have taken again another input. So I taken days of present, days of absent. Okay. Then I am trying to print percentage of it. Number of days present minus number of days absent divided by number of days into 100. Okay. Now let me see. Now it is going to check after this statement, what I'm getting as here the percentage of attendance. The percentage of attendance of the days where I am present, correct? Now let us see. The if condition I am keeping, if percentage is less than 80, then you are not eligible to sit in the exam, else you are eligible to sit in the exam. Now let us try. So number of days present, I'm going to keep 20. Number of days absent, I'm going to keep 12. So 2. See guys, enter total number of working days. I have taken 20. Enter total number of days absent. I have taken 2. So out of 20 days, I have, like I'm saying that I was absent 2 days, and it is calculating 20 minus 2 divided by 20. So 18 divided by 20, where I got 90%. So my attendance is 90%. So now it is checking if my percentage, if this 90 is less than 80, it is not, right? So it is coming to the else part and it is printing this. You are eligible to sit in the else. Correct? So guys, these things, right, I am already keeping. I have already started keeping and I have already given the GitHub link in all the videos, guys. This is what you will find here, guys. So this GitHub, you can take all these examples and you can try various aspects of outputs, because you can try, see, if you want to understand more, right, you can give more and more kind of inputs, so you should be able to explore more, right? Because the various aspects I cannot show you in one session. You have to try it by yourself. You have to practice, right? Like I already explained you guys, I will give you one practice set, and again I'm going to put that in this GitHub link. You can take it from there, and it will help you for practicing and to clarify or to get cleared in interviews and all. If you have Python interviews, that will be helpful. Now let us take one more. So this is quite a complex example, guys. So just let us understand that. Take two set of numbers. Take two set of numbers. Find mean and mass of that set of values. If in set mean is equal to second set mean, the print is equal. If set max is equal to second set max, like first set max, then print is equal, else not equal. Let us say. Why I've taken this example, guys, I wanted to show you how I can use math functions. We have something called math functions. In Python, we have something called math functions, where you wanted to, where you want to perform some of the math calculations, right? See here, if you see in math, right, in math functions, we have constants, math constants such as pi, then mu, those kind of constants which you have, you will be able to find it in this. And how you will do? You should import math. You should import math. If you do that, it will, you should be able to utilize all the libraries of it. So you can see, guys, this is one of the math function, mean and max. Just I wanted to show that part. I want to show that part. That is why I have kept it here. Okay. So I'm taking a variable mean x, and I want to print mean of these three values. Max x, I want to print max of these three values. Now I'm reading it. Again, I have taken mean of another set, mean of y. Okay. Max of y. I'm reading it. Now, what I'm trying to do, if mean x equal to mean y, then print equal. If max x equal to max y, then print equal. Else print not equal. Now, see, it is giving me the output already. Mean of x 4. Max of x 10. Mean of y 8. Max of y 12. So guys, according to our condition, mean x and mean y should be equal. Is it? No. Max x, max y should be equal. Is it? No. That is why it came to the else condition. It can printed not. Guys, again, I'm telling you, this is a good example. Please try inserting different values here and try to fetch the mean and max of this and try to explore it. I'm going to keep these files in GitHub, guys. Okay. Now I want to explain you something very important, guys. That is not which was planned initially to keep, but I thought of keeping it here. So take a string input and check whether a particular word is existing or not. This is one of string examples. String example, how you can implement for like the condition on any string statements or something, right? So see, here I am taken string value. This is Python programming. What I'm trying to do here, guys, just observe. I want to know if Python is present in str, like if Python is present in the string or not. Correct? If it is present, then it will print this. The string contains the word Python. Else, the string does not contain the word Python. Now let me run it. See, it is saying the string contains the word Python. Correct? Because my Python is present in this statement already, right? So this is how you can check any element which is present in string or not, right? Now let us understand few important string operations, because I thought this should be like I have to explain this because you will get few questions from this string part, guys. So just understand and observe the syntaxes carefully. There are there are several string operations and string functions, but I thought of keeping which are very important and I kept it here. See, first one is length. Then we have something called upper and lower. I have already shown you one example how we use that lower function. Then we have something called strip, split, then join, replace old to new, then find substring. If you have a string, you have to find a substring of it. And index, find or index, then starts with or else with prefix, and format, then count. These are the most used string functions or methods, guys. Now let us see one by one example, okay? So this is a length function. What I did, I have taken a string, okay? String expression, you can see my str, I have taken hello Python. What I want to do, I want to check length of that, length of my string expression. What I'm getting? Print. Let us see that. Now let me see how, guys, again, one more very important update here. In Python, whatever the data structure you are considering, everything behind screen or everything behind how interpreter will treat them, it will treat them as an index. Everything is getting saved as an index, guys. Everything, every value, everything, it is converting into single character and it is saving it, even though it's a list, it's a string, or it's a dictionary, everything. So here I have written like hello Python, correct? Now let us see how the length came to 12. Okay, what should be the index, guys? 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. There is a space here, right? Space. Observe, guys, space is also getting considered here as a index. This is 4th position. How it is getting saved? Space is also getting saved along with that, because it is a continuous, right? It's a continuous. It cannot break in between. It's a continuous flow of like byte code. It's a continuous flow of data. That is why it's considered space as a index, and it has taken a position of 4th. Then this is 5th. So this is 5th. So 4 is our O. This is 5th. This is 6th. This is 7th. This is 8, 9, 10, and so guys, my index numbers are 11, but the characters are 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? That is why it print 12 to me. Right? Now let us see another example. Upper or lower function. See, I had taken a string again. The same string I have taken as it. Just I wanted I don't want to break the flow. That is why I have taken that. I want to see my upper text and I want to see the lower text. Let us see what is the this. Just observe the syntax is carefully, guys. Upper function, lower function, right? Let me see. The hello Python statement or the hello Python string is converted to completely capital letters. Everything is in uppercase. Lower text. Everything is converted to lower case. Right? Now let us see another example. Strip function, guys. These are something new things to you guys because these are not very not very happened use cases, right? So just see this strip function. See, consider that you are writing a code and in few of the places there are so much of space in between before and after. You can truncate it. How to truncate it? You can use strip. You can use strip function. You can see, guys, you can, this is a placeholder where I'm saving my stripped value and let us print it. See, it has removed all the white spaces or all the spaces before and after, and it printed the complete output without that. Split, guys, again, you can, what I told you, split what is going to do, whatever the, you have a lengthy statement, right, and you want to know how many elements are there in that, you can split it by using split function. You can see here I have 3 elements, hello, Python and programming. It converted or it split and it gave me the output, three different outputs, right? Let us see join. Guys, this is a very peculiar example. See, I have taken these two. See, join means what it is going to happen if you want to join in few places, right? If you want to join with something, if you want to join with comma, if you want to join with there are so many characters, right? So many ASCII values, so many alphanumeric characters. So during that, what you have to do? You have to see the symbol which you want to keep, the symbol with which you want to join. You can put it first, then you can put dot. You want to join, keep a join method here, a join function. Then you want to keep the statement or the list which you want to join. Right? So simple, correct? Now let us print. See, this hello Python is printed like this. Hello underscore Python. I have taken underscore value here. Replace. Again, guys, replace. I want to replace something, some word in my string statement. So this is what? This is my example. I have taken one original. I am taking a placeholder where it is going to give me the replaced statement. This original dot replace, what I want to replace? I want to replace programming with coding. So the old word with new word. This is how my replace works. Okay. See, initially I have written I like Python programming classes. Now I am getting output I like Python coding classes. The programming got changed or replaced to coding. Then we have something called find or index. See, guys, I have taken a text. I like Python programming classes. Position. I want to know the position of pi. If you want to know the certain position of some value or some string, some part of string, you can use this find. Find is going to give you the position. Find is going to give you the position of any particular character or any particular place of part of your string statement, and it is going to give you the position of that. See, now let us guys understand how it came to 7. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4 Sorry, again, let us count. 0, space is 1, L is 2, I is 3, K is 4, E is 5, space is 6, P is 7. See, the first position it is giving me. It is giving me P's position, right? Okay. Now let us see another example. Starts with or ends with function. Okay. So, guys, you have to see these kind of use cases. Starts with and ends with when, if you want to check, if you have some file name, and if it's a very large code, I mean you don't know where exactly to find, so you can use this. You can take one variable, you can take that file name, you know that file name, but you don't know where exactly you have to find in the code. I'm telling a real use case. So during that time, what you can do, you can take this example. If a file name ends with the extension of that file name, you should be able to get it there. If that file is present there, it will give you true. If that file is not present, then it will give you false. Similarly, starts with means if you want to check a particular place of that statement, if you want to check whether that is existing or not, then you can use starts with, right? So see, this example, this file contains pi, right? This is a Python file. So it is giving me true. Again, guys, this is case sensitive, not case insensitive, right? See, I had taken all small letters, Python, and I want to check whether this starts with capital P, Y. It is giving me false, guys. Case sensitive, guys. These functions are always behaving on case sensitive mode, right? Now let us see count function, guys. Count occurrences, right? How many times things are repeating. Count. When count comes, the word should come occurrences. How many times the particular thing is present in the particular string, right? So this is my string value, pineapple. Now I want to know how many times my P is occurred. P is occurred in pineapple. And I want to print. See, P is 3 times, right? P, this first P, second P, third P, right? Guys, so again, you have to see these things and you have to practice based on your, like you can put various things like you can try various examples. You can try inserting various texts here and you can see, observe the output. That's how you will get your concepts clear, right? Now, guys, this is one short example. I think I have already shown you this, but I want to show it. I have not taken anything name and all, but I want to show how this formatted string works. This is called format. You have seen everyone format, so this is what format. F of this. So I have a placeholder already. Consider that you have written name equal to something, subject equal to something. This is how you can fetch that output. F double quotations. Inside that you can write my name is this placeholder and I am learning this placeholder. Okay, subject. That is how your formatted string works. Now let us guys understand match case, right? We have match case. So match case, guys, again is a important concept and there are various ways we can achieve this. One is a matching values. You can match values. You can match tuples. You can match conditional if statements. Okay. Inside that again you can put conditional single line statement. I told you that. Single line statement you can put and you can match it. You can match with dictionaries. You can match with objects. So I have given a few examples here, guys. You can see one. And the first one. See, I have taken a list of months. Okay, what I told you in some cases where the choices are more, in those cases you should use match case. Okay, so this is a syntax. I want to know my month of like what it contains on my 7th month, right? This is my input, 7th month, and I want to know in which case, in which month my 7th is. So you can see I have taken various cases here, right? From all 12 months I kept, now I want to print. See guys, I have got July, right? My month 7 comes under July. So it skipped everything, guys, and it printed this. See how fast it is, right? Similarly, there is another example. This is a case of default match case. See, guys, one more thing. See, if you see this, you must have recalled or must have remembered that in switch case, there is a default statement, correct? So that default statement is presented in as underscore here in case of switch. This is a very important concept. It might come in your interview questions, how you will present a default case in case of match case statements. This is how you should present it. See, I had taken a day equal to 4 and I want to match with that. So are you able to see any case? Are you able to see any cases as with 4? We have 6 and we have 7. Do we have 4? No, right? So it will come and print this. This is my default. So if no matches will be available, in short, if in a statements no match is available in those choices, right, it will come and print your default. It will come and print your default. That is the gist of the, like, that is your understanding, okay? That should be the understanding. Then there is something called piping in match case. Piping, guys. Piping means here or. This is or operator, right? Right? Instead of or we are writing, we are putting this piping. So guys, this is a day 4. I have taken a input as day 4 and I want to match. See guys, I have taken 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So in those choices, I want you to print today is a weekday. Then if I have 6 and 7, I want to print I love weekends. So if I have given 4, then my output is coming today is weekday, right? If I want to print 6, if I want to print a weekend, I love weekends. See, it came and it printed, right? I love weekends. So that is how my piping. Just observe the syntaxes carefully, guys. These are the syntaxes by, like, if you practice more over the period of time, you should be able to achieve this, right? Now let us take another example. Guys, this is again object case, right? Consider I have a class color. This is a init function, or this is I can say icon constructor here, right? I've taken 3 type of colors, RGB, red, green, blue, correct? And I want to assign something here, okay? Now again, next, I have taken a separate method where I am trying to take this object of color as input, and I want to match that object and I want to keep the output. See how? So even the match case is applicable for objects, right? So you can see I have taken match color obj. And what my color obj is taking, guys, my color obj is taking 3 colors, right? Red, blue, green. Red, blue, green, 3 numbers. We have some index, some color index, right? If we have 3 combinations, 255, 0, 0, then it is red, 0, 255, 0, then it is green, like that. And 0, 0, 255 is blue, right? So that color pattern you should be able to, like, if you Google out, then you should be able to understand these color patterns. But these are the color patterns which our interpreter understands, right? So you can see case color. If my case color, I'm instantiating, I'm initializing my class here, right? This is a kind of object, first object. If my color R equal to 55, G equal to 0, B equal to 0, return pure red. If case color instantiating again R equal to 0, G equal to 55, B equal to 0, it should print pure green. Else, if any other output, it will return the RGB, then it will give me this output. So let us understand these two cases first. If my color is red, then now what I'm trying? I'm trying to instantiate color class, right? So I have taken red object. Red as a first object, then I'm trying to insert these values. Green as a second object, and I'm trying to instance another 0 to 55, 0. I want to print. How you'll print? You will take this describe color. What it is expecting, guys? It is expecting a object of color. So you will insert this. This is how you will call. This is a function call. So we will explore everything in our function, right? Then you want to print describe color. This is a method. What it is expecting? It is expecting a color object. Which is my color object? Red and green. Both are my color objects. So I want to print. Let us see the output. See? It went inside the match. It first case, it is matching. Okay. My R is 255. G is 0. B is 0. It print red. Second case, it went inside to this. My R is 0. G is 255. B is 0. It printed green. Right? So these are a few cases of like few examples of match case, guys. Again, I will I'm preparing a set of queries or set of practice sets where I'm going to keep every examples, guys, and you guys will practice, and hopefully like after practicing you guys should be able to explore more on these parts, right? So that is all, guys, for today, and we'll meet again for loops and other few other concepts are there in Python. We will cover them, and very soon we are going to start our data science part. So once data science started, right, nobody should plan to miss on those things, because I'm going to cover very I'm going to cover very basics to very advanced concept in each and every classes. So stay tuned to this channel. So that is all, guys, for today. We will again meet to understand more on Python loops and other few concepts are there. So immediately after that, guys, we are going to start on data science. So people who have not subscribed yet, please start subscribing, because you do not want to miss data science part, right? Because those are the building block of AI and ML. Without that, you cannot start. And yeah, so guys, go ahead and start subscribing. People who have subscribed, please share this to friends and groups. So that is all, guys, and have a great week and stay healthy, stay safe. Let's learn and grow together, guys. Thank you.